Hello, welcome to another Tonalist landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy, and the painting I'm bringing you today is called Twilight Stream. It's a 5x5 and I painted it back in November of 2018, and I thought it would be good to just clear off my 2018 folder off my hard drive. So this is one of the last paintings from 2018 I haven't shared yet, and it's a nice little painting. I actually like it. It's quite a nice little tonalist motif. I'd have to say mostly painted from, well, I had a bit of reference, but a lot of imagination went into this. It's one of those kind of paintings, and well, we'll see what you think. As you can see right now, I'm working on my textured board, which is covered with a coat of burnt umber oil paint. Kind of a labor-intensive process. As a matter of fact, I spent a good part of last week doing board prep, at least the end of it, and could really use an assistant. The thing is, I'm so picky about it. I don't know if I could actually, I'm sure I could maybe get an assistant, but it's become a very integral part of my process, and having the right texture, especially when it's hanging on the wall and the light's hitting it from whatever source the light may be coming from. Really nasty textures are going to show up. A lot of spots and bumps and weirdness all shows up, and it distracts from the enjoyment and appreciation of the painting. Now, there is a texturizing video on my channel. If you just go to my channel and type in the word board, you can get some insight into my approach if you're interested. Anyway, doing a drawing stage using a little bit of my old handy dandy quick drying ivory black. The only brand I can use is Griffin, which is an alkoyd paint from Winsor Newton. I was using the Gamblin for a while, but it doesn't dry properly. It's very weird, which is odd since Gamblin. I use almost every other paint that's not an earth color in my palette is a Gamblin color, and I've had zero problems with the rest of them, but their alkoyd black I can't recommend. It's a Gamblin, if you're listening, please get it together, because I have to buy the Griffin in a tiny tube. I go through tube after tube of it. So anyway, moving into color. Usually I have my colors pre-mixed. I used to record that, and I know some of you do like that and want that, but I found that it gets the video off to a very slow start. And speaking of that, if you like my channel and you want to help me out, you want to help support me, there's a couple things you could do. One, please like or comment on the video, and if you could share it, that's also helps drive traffic to my channel, and YouTube really likes that. YouTube really likes when they see engagement, and so they will put the video in front of more people, and it will help the channel grow. Also, I will be popping this little painting into my store. It's currently on the wall in my studio, but I'll pop it in the store, and if you're interested, it'll be there for a good fair price. So thanks for that. Anyway, you can see I'm working into the color now, and I was actually teaching one of my students about painting. We're doing a landscape painting, and I do a lot of different things in my teaching. A lot of times I'll put the focus on drawing, having been a commercial illustrator for years, and before that just a general artist, pen and ink guy, what have you. There's not much I can't draw if I need to, and so a lot of my students, we don't even get into oil painting of landscapes, but I was working with a student, and I tend to bypass and underestimate technique, but one thing I would point out is that you want to have a sort of consistent approach with your brush handling. It's good to change it up, but one thing I don't think works very well is just stabbing at the canvas. You want to sort of work things in a kind of regular pattern. And you can see I always do like a little drag down from the edge of my brush down below, and what that does is it gives me a way of sort of mixing on the painting that is not blurry, because it utilizes the hairs of the brush to sort of integrate with the colors that were there previous to the stroke I'm laying down. So just a little insight for you there. Also, one of the reasons I like to pre-mix, even though I will oftentimes change those colors up before I even put the brush to my canvas. Like say I mixed a blue or something and then get ready to paint, and I look at it again and go, well, this isn't blue enough. I'll just adjust it and then start painting. But the reason for the pre-mix is to kind of get my head wrapped around the scene, and sort of it's kind of a neutral way of beginning to engage with the painting without actually putting any brush marks on the, I keep saying canvas, but you know, we all know I use boards. Canvas is great though for those of you that like it. I'm not anti-canvas, I just don't care for it. I may end up working with it at larger sizes when I get into that new studio, which is I don't know. It's happening at some point. I've had a few people ask me about that, and I have had people on the channel interested and curious about seeing me do some larger things, and I'm looking forward to it. I can say that, and I have worked as large as like 1824 or so in the past. Actually, even previous to my career as a commercial artist, I was doing a lot of times I was doing graphics and paintings and things for the business I work for that basically did artwork and framing for the hospitality industry. So sometimes we do big pieces for the lobbies and things like that. And a lot of times of that stuff I'd use like a great big, 2.5 inch, like just regular wall painting type brush. And that would be pretty much what I'd intend to do when I get into doing larger work in my new studio. You want to be careful not to use too small of a brush on a larger painting. So the larger you go, the more you should be scaling up your brush. You don't want to try and cover big expanses of area on your painting with a little brush, because unless it's part of your style, and really think twice before you make that a part of your style, it's not a great idea. It's not a good plan. The reason being is that the smaller the strokes, the less immediacy, the less air can get into the painting, the less impact it will have, the tighter it will be. And tight paintings tend to feel uncomfortable, and that's not good. That's not adding up to a win. So I would avoid it, basically. Just my advice, and you can take it for what it's worth. A lot of that's based on experience, because say I was going to do this little 5x5 as something like a 12x12, I wouldn't be working with I think I'm working with a number 4 right now. It might be, looks like I'm doing some little black stuff with a 2. And I will do these 5x5s with a 4, which is slightly uncomfortable for that size. But it gives you better effects. It gives you more of a painterly feeling. And the world doesn't need more paintings that look like photographs. It doesn't. We have photographs already. So if you're going to do a painting, it should look like a painting. And one of the best ways to accomplish that is by using a brush that's slightly too large, just a little uncomfortable. That's what I always teach my students, just a little uncomfortable. You can still do the job. You have to be a little creative, and when you're being creative, I do almost all my detail with, say, the corner of that brush, as opposed to grabbing a little brush and doing little tweaky details with the little brush. It just doesn't look good to me. And trust me, when I started out, that's what I was doing. I had sables, I had all kinds of little tweaky brushes. I was painting little blades of grass in the foreground, and unfortunately I never videotaped any of that work, so I can't really throw it up here on YouTube. But if you dig around on Blogger, put the word tonalism in, you might find my first blog. I started a blog the year I started painting, so I documented my whole progress and process, and even though I didn't know really what I was doing, I had a clue, because I was, the background as a commercial artist. I understand how to create images that have impact. That was my, my job. But I always say here, I always thought that the the career as a commercial illustrator would have given me a bigger advantage when it came to landscape painting, but it did give me an advantage, no lie, but not as much as you would think, really. Um, I had to unlearn a lot of things that worked well for illustration that don't work well for landscape painting. For landscape painting, you don't want a lot of detail. You don't want a lot of tightness and delineation. It's not about that. It's about creating atmospheres, effects, and emotions. That's what I say. And that's what I'm all about. And that's what tonalism's all about. That's why I label myself as a tonalist painter. Which, by the way, I've had some inputs from people there too. I'm aware tonalism is not that popular of a term. And I honestly don't care. I know what it is, and some people in the know what it is, and I'm very interested in people learning about the term and learning what it is and what it was. And that's the whole reason I started the channel and started sharing my videos, was to try and promote tonalism. I started the channel with the 100 Days of Tonalism project, which was a project where I made 100 small studies after 100 different tonalist painters, all from the past, all 100 years ago. And then I moved from that into sharing my own paintings instead of just the studies after the masters. But the whole idea was to promote tonalism. That's why I put all that out there for free, and why I continue to put things up for free, really. I mean, I could find a very small market and charge them, and try and market videos and this and that, and it just doesn't seem to make sense in the modern world where so much good information is out there for free. But again, if you appreciate that, you appreciate what's going on here, you can help me out by liking, commenting, and sharing this video. Or if you want to possess a lovely tonalist painting, popping over to the store, there's some good ones there. If there's one there's a video of and I missed it, and you saw the video and you went to the store and it's gone, I really apologize for that. All I could say is, if you like something, get on it, because they do move. It's not like they're moving out like hotcakes, but they move. Been doing really good with that since I started tying the uploading to the store with the videos, and it helps me out. As a matter of fact, I live here in New Zealand, where they've got this real problem with lead white paint, and I've just recently had to bring in some paint from the United States. Quite a lot of expense, and the money I used to do that was money that I got from selling a painting off my store. So I felt really good about that. It felt like things had gone full circle, because that purchase of the lead white will help me to do more paintings, which I will videotape and put on the YouTube and in my store, and it's all good. Anyway, thank you for joining me today, and I'll be back over the weekend, hopefully with a past master. I've got 2 that are ready to photograph. I'm going to try and bring them home tonight or tomorrow and get that done, and hopefully have that ready for you. If it's not a past master, it'll be another really nice painting. So either way, it's great if you could come over and check it out. Appreciate all the support and good wishes and comments. And like I said, until I see you again, do me a favor, take good care of yourself and your family, and stay out of trouble.